What's up, everybody? What's going on? Welcome to another episode of the Convo with Miss Marjon. In this episode, we are on our sixth episode for season one. I'm going to do a 60-pound check in, challenge check in. I'm going to talk about learning to slow down, taking a pause for the cause, and the lesson of the scapegoat and how that kind of pertains to Easter. It's Easter weekend. And I'm just telling you, I'm so glad that Jesus rose. All right. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and get this party started, y'all. You know how we do. We got to kick off the intro right. All right. All right, everybody, it's Miss Marjon. Make sure you follow me on social media at Miss Marjon. Also, before we get started, make sure you go to my website at Linktree / Miss Marjon. Again, Linktree / Miss Marjon. And also, don't forget to drop a comment. All right. This is a thing where I want to get to know you. All right. All right. So make sure you go to the website and I'll be telling you an announcement I've been making for the past, couple weeks about the podcast workshop. That's where you go and sign in at. But then also make sure you drop a comment. All right. All right. Is everything good? I'm going to leave the website up for you. So let's go ahead and get this party started, y'all. The 60-pound check-in and everything. I'm moving right along. I am in the 240s. I have learned that, you know what? I am not going to sit up here and dog myself, be negative. You know what I'm saying? But I am in the 240s, 248. All right, let's be exact. I keep it transparent, y'all. Yes, 248. Yes. All right. So with that, um, I just want to say, I want to thank you for all my supporters, my haters, or spectators. And here's the honest truth about this 60-pound challenge. Once again, if you're just late to the party, I am doing a 60-pound challenge. I kicked it off February 1st. It is now April 4th. So we're already, into the second month. I'm down about 15 something, almost 16 pounds. Okay. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Moving in the right direction. Every time I hit a new bracket of 10 pounds, like every decade kind of thing. So like I started in like 260s. I hit the 250s and now I'm in the 240s. All right. So I'm making sure that I reward myself and keep it moving and keep it simple. All right. Because in this journey, it's not about a race, a competition. It's a journey. It's a journey. All right. And I want to stay not only physically healthy, but mentally healthy. All right. Because there's so many distractions, good and bad. And I don't want to be one of these people who is losing weight or gaining weight and miserable. All right. So I am doing good. Only thing is, y'all, to keep it real, I do need to. Oh, there go my thing. I gotta turn it off. I do need to and this is part of the slow down process. Okay, and I'll get to that in a minute. But I do need to get back on track as far as logging what I'm eating and getting those 6,000 steps in. I know you're like, Marjon, didn't you talk about this last week and the week after that? Yes. But like I said, I'm going to give myself some grace because the scale is going where it needs to. But I also don't want to lean so heavily on the fact that I'm on Ozempic or the fact that, I'm not eating as much because, life be life and your body can get immune to this stuff. And then next thing you know, you're going up the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? You're gaining. And so my goal is, like I told you, I started February 1st. My goal is to get down to the 100s, by my birthday, my 52nd birthday. All right. So 52. I November 2nd. And I'm giving myself some time, some grace to get there. You know what I mean? It's it's realistic. It's not like I'm trying to lose 1,000 pounds by next week. All right. So I'm super excited. Also, y'all, it's spring. It's Easter weekend. And so the weather is getting ready to change. So that's why I started in February, kind of like I didn't want to start January 1st because, you're coming off of the holiday, but I wanted to get started in the winter because guess what? It's easy to get out when it's spring and summer, but what about when it's snow on the ground? And so I'm so excited with the timing, and I want you to join me because this spring and summer we gonna get out and do some 5Ks. We're gonna get out and do some walking by the river. Here in Detroit, I'm in Detroit, but hey, maybe you're somewhere else listening and watching me and following me. Let me know what you're excited to get into this spring and summer. All right, I definitely want to hear about that. Make sure you do what? Drop it in the comment section. Drop a comment in the comment section. All right. I'm gonna leave my website up there so you can go ahead and follow me around and all that good stuff. So with that, that's the 60-pound challenge. It's basically me watching what I eat, me getting in like 6,000 steps at least, and also drinking at least 64 ounces of water. Now, here's the thing with that. Um, I'm kind of been not too good with my water, but I've been getting a lot of liquids in. Like when I say liquids, I love, tea, coffee, my lattes type of thing, but I need to get more water in because the hydration, you know what I'm saying? Because you can sit up here, be losing weight and be lethargic and tired. Okay. So remember that, y'all. Make sure you go to my website and hey, let's do this 60-pound. I've got information on my website about the 60-pound challenge. All right. All right. So with that, y'all, make sure you follow me, shout me out on what? Social media at Miss Marjon. So let's now talk about learning to slow down. All right. What does that mean? What are you talking about, Marjon? Oh my gosh, y'all. It's like this. Um Life has so many lessons, right? The wins, the lessons, and why I'm learning that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do, I'm learning the most powerful thing you can do is slow down. Now, I know in other episodes, I've talked about taking a pause for the cause or time management, self care. Other episodes, make sure you check them out. But I want to spend a little bit of time before I go into the scapegoat thing of slowing down. Unfortunately, I would say about almost a month ago, I lost my iWatch. I know some of you like, oh, okay, excuse me. Kind of an expensive watch. I don't even want to know how much I paid for it because it was like a bundle deal. But I still cannot find it. And I'm telling you, I'm not the type of person to lose things like that, especially expensive things like that. But that was a life lesson that I learned that, you know what, Marjon, you need to slow down. You're going too fast. You're trying to do 5,000 things all at the same doggone time. What did I say earlier? Give yourself some grace. So today I'm podcasting. I'm getting ready to take Bentley, who's behind me, to the vet to get one of his vaccines. And then I'm meeting a childhood friend of mine's for dinner. And that's it. And then I got church tomorrow. I'm telling you, at one point, it was nothing for me to just constantly pack on things. Unfortunately, and I mean this not to be petty, I work right now Monday through Friday in a job, in a situation that is very stressful and very time consuming. And I'm praying about this because I believe that's one of the reasons I lost my watch because I've been so busy traveling to suppliers and going into the office and then working from home and having 10,000 people come at me for questions and issues and all this stuff. And I finally learned that not only with slowing down, that means is that you got to learn how to say no to professional people or situations and personal. You got to learn how to literally slow down and sometimes turn off the TV, put away the social media, the phones. You know how we are with our phones because we're just constantly, here's mine. I'm just like this. You like my cover, y'all? Just constantly like this. Have you noticed that? I got an assignment for you. Go somewhere and do some people watching. If I have been in rooms where everybody's on their phone the whole time, like at a doctor's office or um, at the supermarket. People are always on their. I mean, even at the supermarket when you should be looking for the food, people are on their phone. It's the craziest thing. You know what I'm saying? And even with that, even though you may not be walking and running, but you gotta learn to slow down. Take time to sometimes breathe. Breathe in, breathe out. When's the last time any of y'all did that? Sometimes we're like, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do it. Oh, you are, and then next thing you know, you're depleted. You're in the hospital. I have, if I had $1 for every person I know that's been in the hospital just for since January 1st, 2026, I'd be able to go buy a meal right now. But the thing is, you gotta learn to slow down, or guess what? Life will slow you down, right? So I'm telling you, it's not worth it. I'm gonna be podcasting. Shout out to my new client, Leon L. Elamine, who is getting ready to launch his amazing podcast. We just finished the intro and outro. And I'm telling you, and then I'm like I said, I'm going out to dinner later on. And some people say, well, that's a lot. No, it's just enough. It's just enough for Miss Marjon. I tell you, I used to pack it in. I'd be doing something all day, every day. So with that, learn to slow down, give yourself some grace. Sometimes turn off the TV and just sit in silence. Turn off the phone, sit in silence. Listen to yourself, listen to God. You know what I mean? Learn to just listen to nothing. All right. So you keep that in mind. That's a little nugget for this week. Learn to slow down. And you said, well, Marjon, I got ADD, I got ADHD, and some of y'all do. I think I got a little bit of it. I ain't gonna claim it, but I do know some people who do have that, and they're like 60 almost. But just learn to do it again. Hold it. One more time. I mean, breathing hard. I'm telling y'all, I took my glucose and not my diabetes, my glucose and my blood pressure. Everything was good. That's how you want to be. You don't want to be running on fumes, all right? So with that said, y'all, let me go to the next topic at that, y'all, okay? Here's what we got, the lesson of the scapegoat. Like I said, please make sure you go to my website, check out all the things on my website. Also, make sure you drop a comment. I want you to drop a comment on this section right here, y'all, the lesson of the scapegoat. First of all, you know how I do. Let me get my little journal. I hope all y'all have a journal. But I was doing a lesson this morning. Every morning I wake up and do my Bible lesson. Now that's what I kicked off in January. January 1st. Every month I'm doing something as a goal. Yeah, I know y'all like, wow, Miss Marjorie, you got a lot going on. January 1st, I started reading the Bible, the books in the Bible. Okay. I am now in Judges. All right. So you look up, how it falls. All right. And not only am I reading the books in the Bible, I'm doing these study guides. So to hold myself accountable, so I can actually retain some of the stuff that I'm reading. All right. And I'm going to be honest and transparent. That's why I want to spend the next 15 minutes on this. I have been feeling some kind of way, professionally and personally. And it took my manager. I asked her, I said, something is going on. And I was talking about my job. I said, I feel like I'm being pulled in so many different directions. I said, what's going on? You know how some days you just kind of like up against a brick wall and you have no clue what's going on? I said, what's happening here? And you know what she told me? She said, yeah, it's like you're a scapegoat. And I'm like, okay, well, I've heard, I know what a scapegoat is, but you know how sometimes you got to go back to Webster and really see what it is. And I don't know. I hope this is like a life lesson. All right. A scapegoat. Now, let me tell you, it's not a good thing, right? So I'm looking at my manager like, okay, you being too transparent. But think of it like this, a scapegoat. I'm gonna give you like the Webster or dictionary definition. All right, from my journal, I wrote it down. I got it from Chat GPT. Like I said, the dictionary. A scapegoat is a person who is unfairly blamed, punished, and mistreated for faults, mistakes, or failures caused by others, often to shift responsibility away from the actual culprits. It involves unjustly targeting someone to manage frustration, maintain social order, or avoid accountability. Now, let me stop there. Basically, you're being used. And some people are like, well, that's kind of wow. You think you're being used at your job in your personal life? Absolutely, positively. And some people are like, wow, I hate that's happening for you. No, listen, because I know some of y'all will take this and just be like, I'm so sorry. I'm praying for you. No, no, no. At first, I was looking at it in a negative way. But I'm gonna tell you this morning, God bless me. When you do look at a scapegoat in a worldly, point of view, it is a bad thing. It's a person who's basically just being used, neglected, mistreated, punished, blamed, like I mentioned in the definition. But do you also know that according to Leviticus 16, the chapter of Leviticus 16, that a central element of the Day of Atonement, okay, Yom Kippur, you know, a ritual designed to ritually cleanse the community of Israel and their sanctuary. Yeah, I can't hardly think. Their sanctuary from sin and purity. I probably said that wrong. Don't charge to my head, not my heart. But God was a scapegoat. And you're like, wait a minute, I never looked at it like this. For all my scapegoats out there, if you feeling like you're just being used by your family, friends, co-workers, whoever. And when I say being used, not saying they're just whooping on you. I mean, I'm talking about you're the one, the go-to, you're the one that's being blamed. You're the one they call. It's like if you out, nothing can hardly function. You know what I'm saying? If you're out, then they got to find somebody else to blame. Sometimes they'll hire you just to be the scapegoat because nobody else wants to take on the responsibility and the accountability. All right. Jesus was that. Do you hear me? Doesn't that sound good? Because as a Christian, you want to be Christ-like. Jesus was a scapegoat. And you say, how was Jesus was a scapegoat? Because he had to play, whatever you want to call it, you want to term it, he had to be the ultimate scapegoat for our sins. That's why on Friday he died. Saturday he was sitting in that tomb like right now, and tomorrow, Sunday on Easter, he rose. And I'm so excited, and I'm here to tell all of y'all that as a scapegoat, if you feel like you're a scapegoat, don't look at it as a bad thing. All right. Yes, it can get challenging. It can get kind of taxing. But I'm here to tell you many are called, but few are chosen. I have looked at my career since college. And I have, for those of you who've been rocking with me, I have been anywhere from an engineer, which I'm doing right now, to a publicist, to a communications director. I've been a project manager, a program manager. And a part of me, especially after COVID, these jobs I've had after COVID, I have definitely felt like a scapegoat, and among other things. But one thing I was so proud to say, and I can honestly say this morning, right here in front of you, or whenever you see this episode, is that being a scapegoat is an honor because Jesus was a scapegoat. And as you know, he was mistreated all the time he was on earth. Okay, non-stop. They denied. I mean, his own boys. He was denied. He was, you know, you know what I'm saying? He was. I mean, they told on him. You know what I'm saying? They went behind his back. They talked about him. You had all these people. He had his spectators. He had his haters. He had his motivators. In a way, but still, in the end, it was just him. Sometimes, and here he had to come down. Jesus had to come down. And I know some of you may not be a Christian with a hair, and I'm no expert, but I'm just telling you, somebody who's been reading the word, who is totally a prayer warrior. I'm telling you, it is an honor to be a scapegoat. Now, before I was like, God, you're going to have to move me out of these situations. I can't deal with this. I did not sign up for this. I'm not making enough money to put up with this BS. And God is like, but how do you think I feel? Even now, after I rose on Easter on Sunday morning, how do you think I feel? I still am a scapegoat. I still got to, in a way, deal with y'all, take y'all on. When you down, who you think picks you up? You know what I'm saying? When you doubt me and you dog me, who you think is still there in your corner loving you, you know, unconditionally? So I'm telling you, y'all, the lesson of the scapegoat is that if you feeling blamed, punished, mistreated by anybody, anything, okay, know that even Jesus was a scapegoat. And you see how things ended with him. He has all power. He rose. And all those people that mistreated him, where are they now? You see what I'm saying? And that's another thing I want to touch on before we talk about the podcast workshop is that do not get caught up in thinking that bad people are always winning. Because think about it. A lot of people might have looked at that situation with Jesus like, look at how, I mean, they crucified him. Who wants to go through that? But he rose with all power in his hand. And so I say all that to say that there's so much I've been dealing with these last couple of weeks, and it's kind of played into why you haven't seen me a lot on social media. I mean, I'm telling you, when you start getting into social media, getting paid, you know what I'm saying? It's one thing to do it as a hobby, but once you start getting into getting paid, the devil, new levels, new devils. All right. I mean, I'm at a point in my life, and I'll just put it out there. I make really good money. And so that's why a lot of people come after me. I mean, I have had people come after me this week in the most craziest way. And some of them are probably going to see this episode, and I hope they do. And I'm telling you, even with the workshop, I have some people who have asked me about it. I've had people sign up for it, and I'm gonna tell you, and with that, let me go straight into the workshop, the big announcement, right? I'm hosting a podcast workshop in June. Please, the sign up sheet is available on my website. So go to the website. I am so glad I took time to really do the form the way at first I was struggling. And I want to make it clear. I've had people who say they already have a podcast and really all they want to do is learn how to make money. Well, here's the thing. And that's why I'm going to respond to some of these people and let them know that really this podcast workshop is for those of you who want to start a podcast. And and of course I'm going to cover some ways you can make money. But some of you, and I just have to be honest, it's maybe you and your podcast why you're not making money. Ooh, I know, ouch, that hurts, right? But you got to realize that if you don't have content or a platform of some sort that people want to watch, it might not be your time. It might be just a hobby. I mean, it may not be your time to make money. Maybe it's just a something you do for leisure, and be okay with that. Everybody that has a podcast, just like everybody that sings, everybody that dances, you can't compare yourself to these other people who are making a living off of it. All right. Now, in the podcast workshop, I will be going over. In fact, I'm thinking about doing a consultation or some sort, but I have also learned at the level that I'm at, I can't keep doing pro bono stuff. All right. I have too many people paying me thousands of dollars to do their podcast. Like my clients pay me a lot of money. So I don't have time to sometimes always go back to those who want to ask me 50,000 questions and don't want to pay no money. Some of y'all get that on the way home after running your errands. So I have, it's taken me years to get to this level, and I still have to make some improvements. It's time consuming, even doing stuff like what you see right now. It costs money to do stuff like this. Okay. So when people are constantly asking me questions, I'm just like, go to my website. As you see, go to my website. You see at the bottom. All right. And maybe we can talk, but I'm going to be reaching out to people and letting them know that this is really to start your podcast. Now, I have a client, like I said, who is paying a lot of money for me to do his podcast. And the thing behind that is he knows the value of doing this podcast because he's already at a level that he's excited about, but he wants to go to the next level. And his podcast will help him do that. He has a staff, he has a board. You know what I'm saying? He just got back from Chicago. The dude is doing the doggone thing. So I'm so appreciative for my client, Leon, and my other ones, the city of Royal Oak. These people get it. They don't have time to do a podcast and put it all together. You know what I'm saying? So they hire me to do that stuff. So if you're looking to make money doing a podcast, the way I make money is getting clients. I'm not out here to try to figure out getting a sponsor. If later on I partner with a brand, that's fine. But there's a lot of responsibility that comes with getting sponsors and partnering with other brands. It's a lot of responsibility having a client. So be careful what you ask for, because when you take your stuff up a notch and you start wanting money, you're going to have to bring the quality with it. All right. So I don't mean to hurt anybody's feelings, but I'm just keeping it real. Everybody wants to make money, but sometimes people don't want to put the effort and the time and the quality into making the money. All right. It costs to be the boss. All right. And that doesn't mean that you feel like just because you got a radio show, a podcast, you got a song on that you done made in your basement, that you're supposed to be a millionaire or a Drewski or what, Kevin Hart. I don't know. I don't know. Drake. A lot of these people worked hard, and we don't know how long it took them to get to where they are. And sometimes what you think is going to help you make it there is not. It'll be something totally different. Who would ever imagine that Drewski would go viral and blow up and get president recognition, in a negative way, that is, but because he imitated Erica Kurt. He's been doing skits forever. I met Drewski last year at Essence Festival, and his advice was just amazing. I'm not surprised he's where he's at right now and is a millionaire. And that's the thing. A lot of the people that I know who are millionaires, who are making money, I'm telling you, it was not something that happened overnight. So please, please, y'all, make sure you sign up. Once again, drop a comment. Make sure you sign up for the podcast workshop. And once you sign up, I'm going to respond. I'm going to let you know what to expect, how much it's going to cost. You know what I'm saying? And if you maybe want to do a one-on-one, I'll give you maybe 15 minutes. I used to do an hour, 30 minutes. No, I don't have time. And I say that with so much humility. You know what I'm saying? Humility. I'm so humble about it. I have to learn how to slow down. All right. If I take a meeting with everybody that's got 10,000 questions about podcasting, I won't get stuff done for those who are willing to pay and respect my craft and my talent. All right, y'all. I love you. I love you. Ain't nothing you could do about it. Make sure you follow me on social media at Miss Marjon. Make sure you check out my website. Everything you need to know sort of about me, kind of about me, is on my website. I have people like, what's your what? No, go to the website. Go to the website. I'm gonna let it scroll a little bit. Let it scroll. Let it scroll. Let it scroll. All right, y'all. So remember to follow me. And on my website, I'm telling you, I've got stuff about the 60-pound challenge. I've got my bio on there. If you want to be a guest on my show, it's on there. All right, y'all. So remember, I'm doing these every week. And guess what, y'all? I love you, and there ain't a doggone thing you can do about it. All right. Have a blessed Easter weekend, y'all. Because guess what? If you're a scapegoat, you're chosen. All right. Many are called, but few are chosen. And guess what? If you're a scapegoat, guess what? So was Jesus. And you see, on Sunday, he rose with all power in his hand. And everybody that did him wrong, shame on you, y'all. I've been writing names down when people have been doing me wrong. I'm like, get them, God. Get them, God. All right, y'all. Take care, y'all.